beautiful Wareham, Massachusetts. Thanks for choosing to spend your Sunday evening with us. I'm Jake Garcia. He's Eric Bramer, and the third member of our broadcast team, Megan O'Brien, will be joining us here in just a second. Well, tonight's matchup features the Wareham Gatemen and the Orleans Firebirds, two teams that score a whole lot of runs. Last night's matchup for the Gatemen, though, against a Bourne team, that didn't have any runs. 12 innings, both of those teams kept off the scoreboard for the duration. Now they have to turn around and play again today after a very long and treacherous 4th of July game against Bourne. How do they get their head rights coming into today?
Well, last night, even though it was a tie and about as flat as tie as you can get, it was in many respects a win for the Gatemen because it was on the road. They got 1 point in the standings, and it was a game that they could have lost several times in the late innings. So to come out with a point, and now they get to come back home again and play the Orleans Firebirds, a team they lost to twice earlier on in the season. They have a chance at redemption tonight, and they have a pretty good chance if they can get some runs going.
Mentioned these two teams score a whole lot of runs. In fact, they're both tied for the most runs in the Cape Cod Baseball League this season, both having scored 88. For the Gatemen, though, they haven't scored in their past 13 innings, and the tough sledding may continue here tonight. They face a guy in Mitchell Jordan who hasn't given up an earned run in his past 21 innings.
We were pretty impressed by Mitchell Jordan when we saw him during the first week of the season, the nightcap of the doubleheader in Orleans. He pitched 5 one-hit shutout innings, and he's been just as good for the rest of the season. 21 shutout innings. The most impressive stat, only 7 hits allowed during that span. He's striking guys out. He's not walking many. So it's going to be a tough challenge for the Gatemen tonight.
He'll be opposed by Ryan Williamson, a left-hander out of NC State. His battery mate is Andrew Kisner, also from NC State, so the two of them have a lot of familiarity. Now we welcome in Megan O'Brien, the third member of our broadcast team, to talk more about Ryan Williamson.
Thanks, Jake. And yes, Ryan Williamson, lots of familiarity with him, especially around this league as well. He's returning to the Gatemen for his second summer. Also, his teammate, as you mentioned, Andrew Kisner behind the backstop. But someone else is in attendance for Williamson that's also a familiar face in the crowd. Yesterday at Bourne, Williamson ran into the scout from the Texas Rangers who actually drafted him out of high school. And he told Ryan that he was really excited to see him throw and see how much he's developed since his high school pitcher himself. And I spoke with Ryan today. He told me no nerves, nothing but excitement. He can't wait to showcase his stuff off, not only for the Gatemen, but for the scout that drafted him out of high school. So look for more of that excitement coming out of the arm of Williamson tonight. Back to you guys.
Back is Tubbs reaching up. It's gone. Home run, Logan Sowers the first for the Gatemen this season. It was a no-doubter.
Fly ball right field, Jabs charging in. He makes the catch. Boomer White's going to attempt to tag. The throw to the plate in time. He got him.
The 0-1 to Matajevic hit well to center field. Charlie Warren ranging back to left center, reaching up and making the catch, crashing into the wall. What a catch by Charlie Warren, robbing an extra base hit and keeping the no-hitter intact.
Oh my goodness, that was just a devastating breaking ball thrown by Spitzbarth there. It looks sort of like an E-fist.
3-1. Hit well to right field. Walker back. This one is gone. A grand slam for Jay Jabs and 6 runs for the Gatemen here in the second.
That was an absolute moonshot. And here he is. Fastball in there, strike 3, got him looking. Bailey Clark escapes the jam.
3-1. Hit well to left center field. Bird is back. He is not going to catch it. It's off the base of the wall. 1 run will score. Jabs is quickly behind him. He will score as well. It's a 2 RBI double for Andrew Kisner, and the Gatemen now lead 7-0. Now has a 2-2 to Bortles. He got him. Zach Houston comes in the game and strikes out the side.
Ground ball up the middle. Grand Prix spins around, throws. What a play, Preston Grand Prix.
Hi, I'm Kyle Schwarber, and you're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball.
Now from the broadcast booth, I'm Jake Garcia. Joined alongside me is Eric Bramer. Megan O'Brien rounds out the third member of our broadcast team. Welcoming you back into Spillane Field for a Sunday evening matchup between the Orleans Firebirds and the Wareham Gatemen. Orleans checking into this game at 15-6, while Wareham coming in at 11-9-1. Second place still in the Western Division. Get to the lineups here in just a second. First, though, hot news tip, something that's impending here, is the fact that Orleans' bus broke down on the way to Spillane Field. They're able to get here on time, though, which is definitely fortunate for everyone involved. So we're going to have a normal start time a 6 o'clock start time here at Spillane Field on a Sunday evening. All the Wareham Gatemen's home games normally start at 7 on Sundays, though, and it's only our third Sunday game of the entire season. Played Orleans twice, a doubleheader in week 1 of the season, and then since then, 2 rainouts have caused both the doubleheader against Brewster and a game against Harwich that were both scheduled for Sundays. Both of those got rained out. So the Gatemen coming into this Sunday affair 0-2 in Sundays. Still undefeated in July, though, 2-0-1 after a tie last night against the Bourne Braves. Get to the visiting team's lineup first, the Orleans Firebirds. The lineup they trot out tonight presented by Kelly Nicholson. Austin Miller, he's DHing and batting leadoff. He's swinging a hot bat, 6 for his last 17 at the plate. Batting second is Daniel Pinero at shortstop from Virginia. Batting third is Alex Call at second base, and making his first start at second base of the season. Kyle Lewis, the cleanup hitter, batting fourth and playing center field. Willie Abreu's in right field and batting fifth. Trace Barrera, the first baseman from Texas, is batting sixth. Nick Zamorelli batting seventh and at third base. Sean Murphy doing the catching duties. He's batting eighth. And rounding out the lineup, batting ninth, is Ronnie Dawson in left field.
The notable absence is Bobby Dahlbeck, guy who was a one-man wrecking crew in that doubleheader on the first Sunday of the year. He left for Team USA. Even though he only played in 9 games, he's still tied for the team lead in home runs with 4.
We'll get to the Gatemen's lineup here in just a second, but first we'll bring you out to our crowd mic for the presentation of the national anthem.
She has been singing with the Showstoppers Community Service Singing Troupe for 4 years and is active in community theater. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emma Wynand.
The Gatemen and the Orleans Firebirds getting set to take the stage here at Spillane Field. First place team of the Eastern Division in Orleans at 15-6, and the second place team in the Western Division in the Wareham Gatemen at 11-9-1. Now we'll read out the lineup rolled out by Cooper Ferris here against the Firebirds. Batting leadoff is Kramer Robertson. After an off day yesterday, he's back in the lineup today and at second base. Andrew Kalika's batting second and in center field. He's been hot. The third hitter is Andrew Kisner, who's doing the catching duties today. David McKinnon's batting cleanup and over at first base. Jay Jabs in left field batting fifth. John Sternagel, again, he had an off day yesterday, but back in the lineup today, batting sixth and playing third base. Mark Karaviotis is DHing, making his 4th straight start and batting seventh. Charlie Warren batting eighth and over in right field. And Preston Grand Prix batting ninth and playing shortstop.
The big bat missing here is Nick Sierri, who has been on a hot streak, but with Andrew Kisner getting some time behind the plate and Mark Karaviotis DHing tonight, he's on the bench. He's a pretty big bat on the bench, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw him pinch hit later in the game.
The other notable that's out of this lineup, who was in the lineup yesterday, was Connor Beck. He played right field and was a part of a controversial call yesterday at Bourne. Squared around a bunt, pulled the bunt back, and then the ball hit him. Home plate umpire, though, ruling that the ball hit his bat, proceeded to not just single, so he went 1 for 4. He's out of the lineup today. A few other notables out of the lineup, Jarrett Reinflesh and Logan Sowers, both dealing a bit of ailments as this season has progressed. Orleans topped Wareham, as Eric mentioned, in the first 2 games of this series. It was a doubleheader back on June 14th. Orleans won the first game 6-2. They did commit 3 errors, but a 3-run Bobby Dahlbeck home run, as well as a 3-for-3 performance, really proved to be the difference. Then in game 2, just 30 minutes after that first game, they took it 1-0. They leaned on 3 hits, and one of them, again, a home run off the bat of Bobby Dahlbeck. Most recently, though, they're coming off a win against Chatham, 4-2 last night. They dropped the first 2 games of the series against Chatham, but then proved victorious for their 15th win of the season an evening ago. Top half of the lineup, Austin Miller, Daniel Pinero, and Alex Call will be ready to do things against Ryan Williamson. Look at the Gatemen defensively in the outfield. It's Jabs, Kalika, and Warren. Sternagel and McKinnon, third base and first base respectively. The double play combination is Grand Prix at short and Kramer Robertson at second. Andrew Kisner again behind the plate, and Ryan Williamson, a 6'3", 197 lefty out of Cranford, New Jersey, on the mound. Getting ready to deliver the first pitch of this ball game to Austin Miller. It's a fastball and a called strike. First pitch at 6:01 local time. And that's 79 degrees, a partly cloudy day here in Wareham, Massachusetts, and a great evening for baseball. Williamson gets ahead of Miller, a quick 0-2. Williamson making his 5th appearance of the season for the Gatemen. Last time came in relief against Chatham. He threw 2 1/3. Strike 3 looking on the outside corner, goes to that slider of his that he loves to use as his out pitch. There's a quick out in the first inning.
This is the last time in a while that the Gatemen will have a home game. It will not be until Saturday, the 11th of July against Cotuit, till the Gatemen come back and play as the host team.
Williamson, 4 pitches, 4 strikes. First pitch slider there to the shortstop, Daniel Pinero from Virginia. There he misses with a fastball up and out, and the count's even at 1. See the wind tonight here at Spillane Field blowing into the center field alleyway. American flag in right field blowing at a perpendicular angle to where we're sitting right now. Williamson comes into this game with a 5.56 ERA. Took a bit of a tumble last time out against Chatham when he allowed 5 earned runs. 2 walks really plagued him, and he allowed 5 hits as well. Before that, though, his ERA was down near 2. So looking for a bounce-back performance here for the Gatemen. Softly tapped over to Grand Prix at short. Throw in time, and there's now 2 away.
I don't know if that was a broken bat, but certainly sounded like it. Maybe cracked it. Not good contact at all, and that's kind of Williamson's bread and butter. If he can get the ball off the barrel of the bats, he's going to have a lot of success tonight.
Alex Call now from Ball State, the 3-hitter, and one of 3 consecutive right-handed hitters in this lineup for Kelly Nicholson against the lefty Ryan Williamson. Call making his first start of the season at second base today. Takes a first pitch strike, a fastball. He's been swinging a hot bat at the plate, 8 for his last 23. So 348 over his past 23 at-bats, giving him a 317 season-long average. Have a 1-1 count with 2 outs in the first inning, and Williamson pours in a strike. Dialing back with the fastball that goes upper 80s, low 90s. Has touched 93, 94 before. So far this season, hasn't gotten up that high with the Gatemen. There he pulls a string on a breaking ball. It's in the dirt, and Alex Call waves over the top of it. A 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Williamson, so he puts a 0 on the scoreboard for the 13th inning in a row for the Wareham Gatemen. They'll have the bats when we come back. Keep it right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. Bottom of the first we go, scoreless here at Spillane Field between the Wareham Gatemen and the Orleans Firebirds. I'm Jake Garcia. My color commentator tonight, Eric Bramer. And then Megan O'Brien will be joining us throughout this broadcast. Quite a beautiful day here in Wareham, Massachusetts. A few clouds in the sky, but zero threat of rain. Get our first looks at Mitchell Jordan, who's really been the talk of the entire Cape League, leading the league in the ERA department. And the defense that will be trotted out behind him tonight, left to right in the outfield, it's Ronnie Dawson, Kyle Lewis, and Willie Abreu. In the infield at third base is Nick Zamorelli, and at first is Trace Barrera. The double play combination is Daniel Pinero and Alex Call, who's at second base. Sean Murphy putting down the signs for the right-hander Mitchell Jordan. Robertson back in the leadoff spot for the Gatemen. Had a pinch hit appearance yesterday. Struck out in that one at-bat, but in all 9 of his starts this season, he's gotten on base at least once.
I mentioned in the open that this is the second time that the Gatemen have faced Mitchell Jordan, but this Gatemen lineup looking very different from the nightcap of that doubleheader the first Sunday of the year.
In fact, only 2 of the Gatemen players have gotten a look at Mitchell Jordan. David McKinnon, one of them, and Jay Jabs, the other. Other than that, though, entirely new faces that Jordan will be facing here from this Wareham Gatemen team. The 1-2, fouled back and out of play.
That game was about the quickest baseball game you could ever imagine. It was an hour and 29 minutes, made even quicker by the fact that as game 2 of a doubleheader here in the Cape League, it was a 7-inning game. But still, 1 run, only 7 hits, moving along very quickly.
Tapped over to the right side, Robertson goes with it, and it's out of play, foul. Mitchell Jordan comes into this game having only allowed 1 unearned run, so his ERA still sits at 0. 25 strikeouts, only 5 walks in 21 scoreless innings of work. Here's the 1-2 in on the fists of Kramer Robertson, in foul territory, but plenty of room for the catcher Murphy.
The center fielder, number 20, Andrew Kalika from Cal Central.
Something to pay attention to tonight. Mitchell Jordan needs only 3 strikeouts to pass Nick Deeg as having the top strikeout honors in the entire Cape League. Last time out, went 6 innings against Harwich and struck out 8 batters. Kalika comes up empty on a first pitch hack.
And first pitch hack is something that we'll probably be saying a lot tonight. Gatemen don't want to strike out a whole lot against a guy in Jordan who, as you just mentioned, is known for getting swings and misses.
Kalika, the center fielder today, a left-handed hitter from UC Santa Barbara. Continues to swing a very hot bat at the plate. Had 2 more hits yesterday against Bourne. Added a stolen base on top of that. In his 6 starts this season, he has a hit in every single one of them. This ball in on the fists. Inside out swing, it's out of play. One out in the bottom of the first inning. The pitching matchup, Ryan Williamson against Mitchell Jordan. Kalika down on the count 1-2 and stays alive by tapping that pitch foul. Jordan getting his signs from Murphy, and now he delivers to the plate. Andrew Kalika putting together a very good at-bat. Seems to be the theme for Andrew Kalika's at-bats. Every single one of them seems to be of the high-caliber nature, something that Cooper Ferris really appreciates out of his 2-hitter. And again, another foul ball from Kalika.
In their first time facing Jordan, it took them until the 4th inning to get their first base hit. Obviously hoping they can take care of that sooner here tonight.
The 1-2 pitch on the inside corner and called for strike 3. 2 away in the bottom of the first, and now it's the 3-hitter Andrew Kisner.
That might have been a strike to Kalika, but there's not a whole lot he can do with a pitch like that, especially when he's crowding the plate as he is wont to do. In on the hands, and if you're turning away from a pitch, that's usually an indication that you can't put a good swing on it.
Well, Kalika disagreed with the call. Had a few words for the home plate umpire. Quite a few disagreements last night with last night's home plate umpire, Dan Henry. The Gatemen feeling on multiple occasions as if they came on the wrong side of a controversial decision. Kisner up the middle for Pinero. And his throw on to first in time. 3 up, 3 down for the Gatemen. Mitchell Jordan rolls through the bottom half of the first inning. To the second we go. It's the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for Orleans on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. Gatemen due up here in the bottom of the second inning to face Mitchell Jordan. It's David McKinnon, Jay Jabs, and then John Sternagel. I'm Jake Garcia. Joined alongside me is Eric Bramer. See Megan O'Brien make an appearance at some point tonight. But for now, you'll just be stuck with the two of us. It's a righty-on-righty matchup, McKinnon against Jordan. Talked about Kyle Lewis leading the Cape League in batting average last inning. He grounded out to Robertson for the first out of that second inning. McKinnon is second in that department. Puts one in play over to the third base side where Zamorelli camps underneath. And a quick first out here in the bottom of the second.
Really good piece by Nick Fryer, local journalist, in his profile of David McKinnon. I was reminded because, quite frankly, I had forgotten that McKinnon started this season as a temp player. He had been in the lineup pretty much every day, and he just kept hitting. It's often difficult to forget, or difficult to remember, rather, that his spot on this team was not guaranteed coming into the first game of the season.
Jabs serves one out to right field. Hangs up with a bit of hang time for Willie Abreu. Out number 2. Jabs now 0 for his last 15 at the plate. Trying to right the ship against Jordan in his next at-bat.
The third baseman, number 11, John Sternagel from Florida.
2 very quick outs here in the bottom of the second inning. Jordan's looked pretty good so far. John Sternagel, the third baseman from Florida, making his 5th start of the season after receiving the day off yesterday. See the crowd starting to pile in. Last game for the Wareham Gatemen against the Bourne Braves at Spillane Field was clocked in at 1,000+ fans in attendance.
That's pretty good.
Very good. First time in a while the Gatemen had been over the 1,000 mark. To be expected, though, with the 4th of July weekend, everyone wanting to come out and watch what at the time was a battle for second place. Sternagel down a 1-2 hole, and Jordan pours in a fastball that catches the outside corner. Jordan notches a strikeout in the second inning, his second of this ball game. Both pitchers have been perfect up to this point, and we'll head to the third right after this.
That's a ragged old flag.
Johnny Cash, huh?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to take that out of the playlist after the 4th of July festivities last night. So, a little bit of Ragged Old Flag for a second time in case you missed our broadcast last night.
7-8-9 for the Orleans Firebirds in the top of the third inning. Zamorelli, Sean Murphy, and Ronnie Dawson to be opposed by the starter for the Gatemen, Ryan Williamson. Williamson hasn't gone more than 3+ innings of work so far, his longest outing coming against Falmouth at 3.2. He's retired the side in order, 6 up, 6 down. Now against the bottom portion of the order, we'll see how he fares. Zamorelli, that big bat waggle, takes a strike there. It's 1-1. Zamorelli, the third baseman from Elon, checking in with a .213 batting average. Swings and misses at that breaking ball, and now Williamson quickly had 1-2. Zamorelli, 18 strikeouts this season. Compare that to only 2 walks. Swinging and missing quite a bit up to this point. Williamson nearly catches the outside corner. You saw Kisner there holding it for a bit longer than normal. Couldn't come away and steal a strike for his pitcher. Curveball on the inside corner, and he got Zamorelli looking. Second straight strikeout for Ryan Williamson, and now a total of 4, not even through 3 innings yet.
Neither team has a base runner so far, and we're in the top of the third already.
Williamson can definitely strike hitters out with the best of them. This past season at NC State, 35 innings pitched and 43 strikeouts. So far with the Gatemen, first 2 outings went 3 innings, and he had 5 strikeouts in both of them. The 1-0 count lifted down the right field line. McKinnon's there, out number 2.
Left fielder number 13, Ronnie Dawson from Ohio State.
So the first 8 batters of this ball game faced by Ryan Williamson. He set them all down. The 9-hitter now, and a lefty in Ronnie Dawson, the left fielder from Ohio State. Fastball up in the zone. Dawson holds back, so the count goes to 1-0. Slider right down the heart of the plate with some late movement. It freezes Dawson and evens the count. Fastball that time. Dawson had a good swinging. Unable to square it up, though. With the leadoff hitter Austin Miller on deck, Ronnie Dawson trying to start a rally here in the top of the third. The 1-2. Slider in there for strike 3. Another 2 strikeout inning for Ryan Williamson. Now a total of 5 on this ball game. 7-8-9 for the Gatemans right after this quick break. Zero-zero is our score on the bottom of the third. Wanted to get a bit more on David McKinnon before he took a hack at the first pitch and made an out. So now we'll welcome in Megan O'Brien, who has more on the Gateman first baseman.
Thanks, Jake. And as you mentioned, you guys said that you forgot that David McKinnon was a temporary player at the beginning of the season, and I think a lot of people here around Wareham did. And I spoke with McKinnon before, and he said that he's always known all along that he was good enough to play here in the Cape League, but the name of his school doesn't carry much weight with him. And he said coming down here, he knew that he had to get off to the right start so they could sign him to a permanent contract, and that he did. And McKinnon just continues to chip away and increase that average. So look for more of that throughout the season. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Megan. McKinnon coming from Hartford, a 2-sport athlete back at his university. A very successful goalkeeper for his soccer team, and in fact set a school record for most shutouts his freshman season. With the Gatemen, he's been nothing short of excellent, slotting at first base quite frequently for this team. Averaging around the 340 certainly reflects that. It's now Mark Karaviotis, though, the DH from Oregon. Takes a called strike, and now the count evened at 2. Karaviotis making his 4th straight start. A middle infielder by trade, but with Robertson and Grand Prix there today, gets a spot in the DH. And here he laces one into right field. First hit of the ball game for the Gatemen comes off the bat of Mark Karaviotis.
Good piece of hitting, taking a pitch away and driving it to right field. Through the hole in between the first and second baseman. Nice, solid, clean single for the first hit of the game.
First base runner for any team as well. That's tough to come by against a guy in Mitchell Jordan who hasn't allowed more than 3 hits in any of his appearances so far this season. The Gatemen have one, and they'll be looking for more from their 8-hitter, Charlie Warren. Warren shows bunt in an attempt to get Karaviotis over to second base. Saw Zamorelli, the third baseman there, crashing hard. Warren's 12-game on-base streak was snapped against Chatham, but he then followed that up with 2 hits yesterday against Bourne. Again, shows bunt. Here's the back pick over to first. Karaviotis is back standing up. The Gatemen have a semblance of life against a guy in Mitchell Jordan who's squeezed the life out of every single offense he's faced. The 2-0, fouled straight back. The 9-hitter Preston Grand Prix is on deck, so Cooper Ferris reasoning that if he can get Karaviotis over to second, he trusts his shortstop from Cal to swing away and drive in a run. Barrera's holding on Karaviotis at first. Zamorelli at third is charging. Again, an inside strike. Warren didn't think so. That's why he pulled back, so now the count goes to 2-2. Seen that inside strike. Started with Kalika on a called strike 3, but it's been consistent for both sides, the home plate umpire, opening up that portion of the zone. The 2-2, and Warren stays alive. Bunt not on there, and he fouls that one back.
I think Warren's too good of a hitter to be asked to bunt with 2 strikes. Seen him spray the ball all over the field so far in this season.
2-2, nobody out in the bottom of the third inning. In on the fists, and Warren continues to stay alive. A fan who did bring in his glove to the ballpark, unable to make the catch and drawing a few boos.
That's disappointing.
Looked like he had that one in the basket all the way. But as it is, 2-2 to Charlie Warren. Off goes Karaviotis. Here's the throw from the catcher Murphy. It's a seed into second. Getting the sliding Karaviotis for the first out.
Might as well try something, I suppose, and didn't work out. And it might prevent the Gatemen for being more aggressive on the base paths later in this game because Murphy showed off his arm.
The payoff pitch to Charlie Warren. Lifted into shallow center field. Pinero and Lewis both giving chase. It's the center fielder, Lewis. He makes the catch and then collides pretty hard with the shortstop, Daniel Pinero. Both seem to be shaken up on the play. See the trainer out to the field to tend to the center fielder and shortstop.
The encouraging thing is that at first glance it looked like a torso collision and heads didn't knock. But when you're going at that velocity, you worry about the neck and a little whiplash effect. Incredible that Lewis was able to hang on to that one after colliding.
That ball off the bat of Warren really in no man's land. And Pinero was out charging hard from shortstop. Lewis coming in at full speed. It was Lewis who made the catch. Probably an easier play for him. Both ended up colliding and both looked to be okay. Charlie Warren is retired, though, for the second out of the bottom of the third inning. Preston Grand Prix will dig in. Going back to Karaviotis being caught stealing, Seems like ever since we mentioned the Gatemen being 17 for 21 at one point on the base paths, they not only have shown more of a tendency to be caught stealing, but also more of a tendency to make outs on the base paths.
And that's something that Cooper Ferris said the team needed to improve on in our pregame meeting with him. Last night, made a couple outs on the base paths, including a big one at third base when Charlie Warren tried to go first to third on a hit-and-run single.
The argument that Cooper Ferris and Warren both expressed was that Warren slid in under the tag, but still in principle, always tough, and you're not really going to be rewarded for trying to go first to third with nobody out. Grand Prix fouls that one back. It's now 1-2. Grand Prix mired right now in a 1-for-19 slump. Changed his batting stance up a bit in preparation for this game, resting the bat more on his shoulders. Checks his swing there, and yes, he did, says the home plate umpire. So the Gatemen get a hit. It was from Mark Karaviotis, but immediately wiped away. And Mitchell Jordan faces the minimum in the bottom of the third. We're on to the fourth, still scoreless here at Spillane Field. Still scoreless as we head to the fourth inning. We've completed one trip through the Orleans Firebirds lineup, and now Ryan Williamson will be set to face them all again. 1, 2, and 3, 2 up for Orleans. Austin Miller, the DH, struck out looking back in the first inning. Now he'll get ready to face the lefty Williamson one more time. Fastball that was near the zone but not in the zone. So 2-0 now to the leadoff hitter. Big swing and a big miss there from Austin Miller. Comes up empty as he waves through that fastball. The Gatemen had the first base runner of this ball game after Mark Karaviotis singled, but the starter Mitchell Jordan has still faced the minimum. Williamson has faced the minimum as well through 3 innings of work to go along with 5 strikeouts. A lot of ground ball outs up to this point, 3 of them in total. Here's the 2-2. Slider in the dirt and spit on by Miller. Here's the payoff pitch. Ryan Williamson to the plate. Strike 3, a fastball on the outside corner. Strikeout number 6 for Ryan Williamson.
He looks like he has his A stuff here tonight. My goodness. The last 3 strikeouts have been looking, and 4 of his 6 total without swings.
What does that tell you? Big zone or stuff that's been so good hitters haven't even wanted to swing at it?
A little bit of both, and maybe an Orleans approach that's been a bit too tentative.
Williamson dials up a first pitch strike to the 2-hitter Daniel Pinero. Pinero collided with his center fielder Kyle Lewis in the last half inning. Lewis ended up making the catch. Both of them were shaken up on the play, but now it's Pinero back in the batter's box here in the fourth. Big swing and a miss there. Now a quick 1-2. Orleans hasn't even had a ball leave the infield yet. 3 ground outs, 6 strikeouts, and then a lazy pop out to McKinnon at first. The 1-2 with 1 out. Grounded over to Grand Prix at shortstop. His throw is a good one. And now 2 outs here in the fourth.
After tonight's game, we will officially be halfway through the CCBL regular season. Gatemen, of course, hoping to play in the playoffs, and 8 of the top 10 teams do, top 4 from each division. Gatemen continue to play above 500. They will not only secure a spot in the playoffs, but probably have a high seed in the West. But it doesn't seem like that this season is already half over, does it?
No, it really doesn't. Gone by extremely quickly. I'm sure the players and coaches feel the exact same. Gatemen continue to have the best run differential in the West, now at plus 22 on the season. The first place team, Hyannis, is at plus 14. Bourne is dead even at 0. Then Falmouth and Cotuit rounding out the cellar. Falmouth ahead of Cotuit, but also a minus 35 run differential. Cotuit minus 21. The 1-1 pitch to Alex Call. The 3-hitter is fouled back. And then over in the East, Orleans has the best run differential and the best record in the entire Cape League. Their run differential at plus 39, in large part due to their stellar offense, which ranks first in home runs and RBIs. And there they have their first base runner against Williamson as he plunks Alex Call towards the head area.
Looked like that got him high on the shoulder. If he hadn't jumped, and I believe he was completely airborne there, that might have gone straight for his head.
The center fielder, number 8, Kyle
Looks to be all right, though.
from Mercer.
Now Kisner out to the mound to conference with his teammate back at NC State. The two of them really have developed a strong relationship back at North Carolina State, and even more so here on the Cape. Both of them returning to the Gatemen this season. Williamson last season with the Gatemen only appeared in 6 games, only threw 9 innings. So it's Alex Call over on first base, and now up at the dish is the cleanup hitter, Kyle Lewis. Lewis, to go along with his CCBL lead in average, also leads in total bases and in slugging percentage. After Bobby Dahlbeck led this team for so long in home runs, Lewis has finally caught up to him with 4. Here he goes opposite field and puts a charge into one deep and over the fence. An Oppo Taco home run from Kyle Lewis. It's 2-0 Orleans.
That shows the raw power of Kyle Lewis. Took a high fastball and hit it out to the opposite field, which is not easy to do here at Spillane Field.
Right fielder, number 32,
There goes the no-hitter. There goes the shutout. And there goes the 0-0 game.
Ryan Williamson was humming along very nicely before this 4th inning. Got 2 quick outs, which were 10-in-a-row batters that he had retired from this Orleans lineup, and then he hit Alex Call on a fastball that went high and tight. Kyle Lewis follows that right up with an opposite field home run. And so now Lewis officially takes the lead with home runs for his team. Bobby Dahlbeck now with Team USA after just putting on a performance for the ages in limited action with the Orleans Firebirds. But Lewis now surpassing him with 5 home runs this season. The count's 1-1 to Willie Abreu, bounced out to Grand Prix in his first at-bat. Lefty on lefty matchup, and Williamson fires in a fastball. The 1-2 with 2 away, bounced in the dirt, and now it's 2-2. Here it is, the 2-2, a good pitch, but a really good piece of hitting from Willie Abreu to stay alive and go with that outside pitch. He slaps it foul. So 2-0 Orleans in the top of the 4th inning. The Gatemen got the first base run of this game in the bottom of the 3rd, but Orleans draws first blood. Strike 3 on the outside corner, another backwards K for Ryan Williamson. But he coughs up 2 thanks to a big fly from the center fielder, Kyle Lewis. We will head to the bottom of the fourth, 2-0 Orleans. Two runs in the fourth inning for Orleans, and now they definitely feel good as they've staked out a 2-run lead for their ace, Mitchell Jordan. He still faced the minimum despite allowing a single to Mark Karaviotis back in the third inning. So now he'll go through this lineup for the Wareham Gatemen for the second time. Why is this so concerning for the Gatemen? Well, Mitchell Jordan comes into this game with 21 straight innings of not having allowed a run. All 21 of his innings so far in the Cape League have been perfect. And now with 3 to his name in this ball game, extend that streak to 24. One strikeout each inning, so still keeping up that K per 9 ratio. Hovering at a little above 9 coming into this ball game and staying there up to this point. Robertson popped out to the catcher back in the first inning. Here he takes the first pitch slider from Jordan. 1-0 pitch hit sharply in the 6-hole. Backhand by Pinero. Going to take a strong throw. And the tag from Trace Barrera completely misses Kramer Robertson. We'll see if that's ruled a hit or an error. Official score, what do you say?
As a former official scorer myself, I'm going to rule that an infield single.
Good, because I was going to rule it the same.
Would be a pretty tough error to give to the shortstop on a play going deep into the hole.
Official confirmation has been given. A leadoff base hit for Kramer Robertson to start the fourth. Kalika shows bunt and hits one foul. The Gatemen trying to get base runners back in scoring position after coughing up 2 runs in the fourth inning. Only 2-8 this season when their opponent scores first. Kalika, one of the 3 strikeout victims for Mitchell Jordan, coming in his first at-bat. Pops one off his bunting bat, and Murphy out of his crouch quickly for out number 1.
Kalika very fast. If he could just get a bunt down, he's got a fighting chance to beat it out regardless of where it's placed. But if you bunt it in the air, your chances are severely diminished.
Kisner coming to the plate now, the 3-hitter in this Gateman lineup. Now 0 for his last 12. Averages dipped to 240. Slider there from Jordan with a lot of movement, gazing into the home plate umpire. Motion's a bit inside. Kisner could use a hit after having bounced out to Pinero in his last at-bat. One off against Jordan would definitely feel good. Jordan from the stretch, the 1-1, paints the outside corner, and now it's 1-2. Robertson over on first with 1 out. The 1-2 to Andrew Kisner. Hit back and out of play. Something that Andrew and head coach Cooper Ferris have been working on is keeping his nose and his head at a constant level. Rather than trying to dip and elevate one, trying to go back to the vintage Kisner swing that everyone's really knows. A gap-to-gap hitter hitting a lot of line drives, trying to get back to that after a few games in which he's hit too many fly balls. The 1-2. Down around the shoe tops. Kisner comes up empty, and now the second out of the fourth.
The first baseman, number 10, David McKinnon from Hartford.
The Gatemen have already made one out on the base paths in the last inning. Caraviote is caught stealing second. But I'd keep an eye on Robertson here with 2 down and David McKinnon at the plate. McKinnon a good contact hitter, but doesn't hit for a whole lot of pop. That's not his game.
Takes a hack at the first pitch and lifts one in the infield. Alex Call, the second baseman, he puts it away for out number 3. So the Gatemen get another base hit. They're second in as many innings off of Mitchell Jordan, but after that it's 1-2-3. We will head to the 5th inning, 2-0 Orleans over the Gatemen on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. The lefty Ryan Williamson heads back out to the mound for the Gatemen to work on his 5th inning of work against the Orleans Firebirds. It's 2-0, both of those runs coming off the bat of Kyle Lewis, who went opposite field on a fastball from Ryan Williamson and blasted one over the fence. Alex Call was on first base after having gotten hit by a pitch, and so 2 RBIs on the play for Lewis. As we stand now, it's 2-0. Jake Garcia, Eric Bramer, and Megan O'Brien with you on this Sunday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. The Gatemen and the Firebirds doing battle here at Spillane Field. 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Firebirds due up. It's Barrera, Zamorelli, and Sean Murphy.
Barrera from Texas.
Seven strikeouts so far for Ryan Williamson. Other than that one swing of the bat from Kyle Lewis, he's been pretty fantastic. Inducing a lot of ground outs too, 4 of them in total. One of those 7 strikeout victims was this guy at the plate, Trace Barrera. Now a quick 0-2 as he comes up empty. The 0-2, a fastball on the outside corner, and Barrera goes with it. Another game that's moving along pretty speedily for the Gatemen. Last night we had completed 9 innings, and I want to say just over 2 hours?
I believe so, yeah, and the final game time a little over 3 hours and 12 innings.
A lot of that because the Gatemen pitching staff started to walk quite a few of the Bourne batters. Total of 9 walks for that pitching staff. Did a good job stranding, though. Fly ball right field, where Charlie Warren is there to make the catch. Really, aside from the home run from Lewis, not even a lot of hard contact off of Williamson. A lot of softly hit ground balls in the infield. A few pop-ups as well.
Yeah, just that one mistake, and it was an admittedly big one. Kyle Lewis going opposite field with a 2-run home run.
Lefty on lefty matchup now, and Williamson delivers a first pitch slider that misses high. Zamorelli with a .213 batting average. Dropped down a few notches after he struck out one of the looking victims for Williamson back in the 3rd inning. Hitters count, though, for the 3rd baseman. Here's the 2-0. Fastball there on the outside corner. Williamson gets the okay from the home plate umpire, and now to the plate, fouled back. The wind has also shifted directions. The start of this game blowing out towards center field, and now currently blowing directly out to right. This ball hit well into right field. Warren back to the wall. He leaps up. Another home run. Number 2 of the game for the Orleans Firebirds. This one a solo shot off the bat of Nick Zamorelli.
Charlie Warren in right field gave it everything he had, timed the jump and everything, but just out of his reach. Now 3-0.
So the long ball proving to be the faultiness of Ryan Williamson so far in this ball game. 2 of them now have left the ballpark, second in as many innings for the Orleans Firebirds. So now they're staked out to a 3-0 lead.
And the only 2 hits of the game.
Just as we talked about that wind blowing out to right field, the left-handed hitting, Nick Zamorelli, goes that way and hit one in the air, so at least aided a little bit by that wind. Still hit well, though, so probably not entirely dependent on it. Now pitching coach Jim Lawler out to the mound.
This is an Orleans Firebirds team that plays half their games in Eldridge Park, which is definitely a hitter's park towards the lines, but a cavernous center field. If you look at it from a bird's eye view, almost a square. And I'm not sure whether or not those 2 would have gone out, but 3:30 down the line here at Spillane Field, it does not take not too many different people can hit it out here, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Orleans coming into this game, leading the entire Cape League in home runs with 11. They have 2 more here in this game, and this ball hit a ton into the left center gap. And into the bleachers, a long ball for Sean Murphy. A solo shot, and now it's 4-0. So the bats have come alive for the Orleans Firebirds. Back-to-back home runs. This one for the catcher, Murphy. And Williamson really getting plagued by the long ball.
He's only given up 3 hits through 4 1/3 innings. That's not all that bad, but those 3 hits, all home runs. 2 of them solo shots in this inning, and then in the 4th, 2-run shot off the bat of Kyle Lewis.
Ronnie Dawson wants a part of the action. Had a big swing there, but comes up empty. Another big swing. Williamson dials up the heat high in the strike zone, past the bat of Dawson.
It sounds obvious, but especially true with Jordan on the mound on the other side. Every run the Gatemen give up makes it that much more difficult to surmount a comeback.
These past 2 home runs for Orleans coming off the bats of guys who haven't hit for a high average this season. Ground ball over to Sternagel at third, down to his knees, throw not in time. So now 3 straight hits for Orleans, and now they have a base runner.
Sternagel played that about as well as you can ask a third baseman to play it. Coming up with a strong throw across the diamond, but Dawson just too quick down the line.
To finish that thought, Zamorelli came into this game with a .213 batting average. He hit a home run, and then Sean Murphy followed that, coming in with a .196 batting average, and he hits a home run. This team, though, very well-rounded, second in the Cape in batting average and first in all the power departments. The leadoff hitter now, Austin Miller. 0 for 2, yet to put the ball in play. 2 punch-outs. This ball into center field, again hit well. Kalika ranging back, and now he camps underneath it. Out number 2, but a very loud out off the bat of Austin Miller.
I think the problem is Williamson just leaving too many pitches up. First few innings, the first 3 innings when he was perfect and he struck out 5 of the first 9 batters of the game, he was down in the zone. He was getting people to swing over the top of that slider.
It's also evidenced in where these balls have been hit this inning. After inducing 4 groundouts through the first 4 innings, now 4 fly balls. Had a fly out to start the inning, 2 home runs, which were, of course, fly balls, and that fly ball to center field. So just underscoring your point. Balls up in the zone, tend to get hit in the air. This ball on the ground, softly hit to Sternagel. He charges in. Let's throw on to first in time, out number 3. But back-to-back jacks off the bats of Nick Zamorelli and Sean Murphy do the damage here in the 5th inning. We will head to the bottom of the 5th. Orleans out to a 4-0 lead. Bottom of the 5th inning, 3 home runs for the Orleans Firebirds have given them a 4-0 lead. Bringing you now Megan O'Brien to talk more on Ryan Williamson. Not sure if the content has exactly changed. Sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men don't really work out, but Megan, take it away.
Thanks, Jake. That's right. We saw Williamson struggle with the 2 home runs, but before the game he was telling me his mentor and kind of his go-to guy is Carlos Rodon, pitcher for the White Sox. He pitched today as well, also had 7 strikeouts, and if Williams' night is over, he told me they talk after every one of his starts, so he'd be looking to call Carlos Rodon, and they do have that one thing in common, the 7 strikeouts for tonight. So back to you guys.
Thank you, Megan. Jay Jabs, a quick out here on the bottom of the 5th inning. Flying out in the infield of the catcher, Sean Murphy. The other thing that Williamson and Rodon really have in common is that wipeout slider. See Williamson unafraid to use it in any count, but his fastball tonight has been victimized when he's left it up in the zone. So 1 away in the 5th. It's now John Sternagel, who struck out back in the 2nd. Jam shot, fouled back and out of play. The 1-1 pitch. A charge put into one, but Kyle Lewis camps underneath it. Now 2 outs in the 5th.
And while Jordan has been good, there's no doubt about that, the Gatemen at least having some more competitive at-bats here in the last couple innings. A single in the 3rd, a single in the 4th, and now a loud out in the 5th.
Garaviotis had one of those singles, one that he lined through the gap between the second baseman and the first baseman back in the 3rd inning. He must be seeing Jordan well because he takes a hack at the first pitch, made some good contact, but fouls it back. The 1-0 fastball inside. It's now 1-1. Jordan to the plate. The slider there misses outside. Gatemen have yet to get a runner in scoring position yet. So the few hits that Jordan has allowed, he's ultimately stranded them, or his catcher Sean Murphy caught one of them stealing.
Time is quickly running out, but you don't want to try and get all these runs back at once.
The 2-2 pitch, a slider from Jordan, catches the outside corner. That's now his 5th strikeout of this ball game. He's had 1 inning and been excellent so far. Gatemen held off the scoreboards for yet another inning. We'll head to the 6th, 4-0 Orleans. Knock you down there by Kanye West, and now the Firebirds have knocked the starter Ryan Williamson out of this ball game. New pitcher for the Gatemen, a right-hander out of UCLA, and Grant Dyer.
Dyer, one of the best setup men in the nation during the NCAA season, but he's been asked to start here in the Cape, now out of relief obviously today, but making his 3rd appearance on the year. His first appearance was wrapping up a game against Brewster, 1 shutout inning with 2 strikeouts. Then in his last appearance, it was a start against Katuitt. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 runs. Only 1 of them earned, though.
Back in his freshman season, Dyer was the midweek starter for UCLA. Had a mixed bag of results, a 4.13 ERA. Not as many strikeouts as he's now known to achieve. This past season, though, because UCLA had so many fantastic starting arms, most notably Griffin Canning, who really stepped up, Dyer was moved over to the bullpen. And like Eric said, proving to be the best setup guy in the country for arguably the nation's best closer in David Berg.
The book on Williamson is complete. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits. All of them, Yeah, all of them home runs.
This ball hit well into left field. Jabs going back to the wall. And a home run into the left field bleachers. Now the fourth of this ball game, this time off the bat of Alex Call.
A rude greeting for Grant Dyer, facing his first batter of the game. And the pitch is deposited into the football bleachers and left.
So the Bash brothers have certainly come out to play tonight. A home run from Kyle Lewis, a home run from Nick Zamorelli, one from Sean Murphy, and now one again in the sixth inning from Alex Call. Now 5-0. Orleans has really showcased their power tendencies here at Spillane Field.
Finished the line on Williamson, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 of them home runs, 4 runs all earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts, 73 pitches, 50 of them for strikes.
McKinnon over in foul territory, has plenty of room. He makes the catch for the first out. Can see the fans over there on the left field bleachers. Again, these bleachers only here because this field is also a football field for the high school team. But the fans over there are starting really to pile in. They know that they may be getting a home run ball tonight. Those are the first base side bleachers. That's foul ball territory, but I want to say more home runs have been hit than foul balls today for Orleans. First pitch strike to Willie Abreu, who's 0 for 2. Right into his breadbasket, but unable to square it up. So a quick 0-2 to the 5-hitter from Miami. I feel pretty safe in saying that's the most fans that have been in left field at any point this season. Dyer, the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss from Abreu. It will require a throw from Kisner. He executes it for 2 outs.
That's going to be prime seeding territory for the Home Run Derby in advance of the All-Star game here in a couple weeks. Should be a fun evening.
Any idea how they decide who participates in the Home Run Derby?
I do not know. I would imagine maybe the top home run hitter from each team. Then you'd have 10 different participants. Not sure.
I wonder if it will be. I wonder if it will be structured like the MLB's new format, which is honestly too complicated for me to even try and talk about. Ground ball to Sternagel, who stays busy at third. It was 3 up, 3 down after the home run from Alex Call. Deposits one into the left field bleachers. Now the 5th home run, or rather the 4th home run of this ball game for the Orleans Firebirds, contributes to their 5th run of the game. Gatemen with the bats, a 5-0 deficit. Back out at Spillane Field, 5-0 Orleans over the Gatemen. It's now been 18 innings since the Gatemen last crossed the plate. They were held scoreless for 12 last night against Bourne, were scoreless in their final inning against Chatham, and now Mitchell Jordan has put together 5 scoreless innings against an offense that's sputtering at the moment here tonight. What's it going to take, though, for the Gatemen to get the bats going? They've been feast or famine all season long. It's why they lead, or at least are tied for the lead, as this ball lined into center. Kyle Lewis there, a quick out here on the bottom of the 6th. It's why they, before this game, were tied with Orleans for the most runs in the Cape League. But they've also been shut out now 4 times this season. And it seems like the hits here against Jordan just don't seem to be falling. What kind of turnaround is it going to take?
Well, all season long, this offense has been fueled by base runners, whether they're via hits, walks, or errors. When the Gatemen get runners on base, good things tend to happen. And I think that's been the most stark contrast between most of the season and these last couple nights. The Gatemen haven't been drawing walks. They haven't been taking advantage of mistakes in the field by the other team. I think they just need to put together more competitive at-bats, and things will happen. Sounds very simplistic, but
well, only 2 base runners tonight for the Gatemen, so having more obviously wouldn't hurt. Grand Prix trying to put together a competitive at-bat after taking the first 2 pitches for called strikes. He's now worked it to a 2-2 count.
I'm better at describing symptoms than handing out prescriptions, I guess.
There you go. The 2-2, nasty curveball there. Grand Prix comes up empty, but the ball goes all the way to the backstop, and the throw not in time over to first base.
The second baseman, number 3, Kramer.
Well, there we go. I was just talking about the Gatemen taking advantage of mistakes by the other team. Now they have a base runner on that probably shouldn't have been on in Grand Prix at first. With 1 down, we'll see if Kramer Robertson or Andrew Kalika on deck can push him across.
Robertson shows bunt, and I think it ended up missing his bat. He's saying it's hit his shoulder. The ball goes to the backstop, so Grand Prix takes second. He's showing the home plate umpire his arm now with his sleeve rolled up, trying to indicate that it hit him. But I think the umpire is going to rule that he went around on the play.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's going on. And not a whole lot you can do about that call if the first base umpire rules that he went.
Well, Robertson's case is that he did get hit on that play, but even if he did get hit, if he went around, it wouldn't matter. He'd have to stay in the batter's box. But for the Gatemen, just another thing wearing on them over these past 2 games, feeling like the calls haven't been going in their direction. Last night they certainly didn't. Close calls all around, a few strike 3 calls that were controversial, and a few plays, honestly, like this that hit batters, but ultimately summoned back to the plate. That's exactly what's going to happen to Kramer Robertson. I guess the bright spot is that despite Robertson being summoned back, Grand Prix now takes second base and only at the cost of 1 strike.
And I'm not sure why Grand Prix is still at second. That's either a hit by pitch or a foul ball.
No, if he stays around to bunt and it hits him without hitting the bat, then it's just a strike. Doesn't matter if it goes to the backstop, right?
I don't believe so. I believe it's considered a foul ball because you can't strike out by getting hit. I think it is considered a foul ball. I'll check on that.
Maybe the ruling on the field was that the ball didn't even hit Robertson. The home plate umpire could deny that as well. But as it is, Grand Prix over at second base and Robertson up at the plate with an 0-1 count. Swings and misses, and it's now 0-2. I think probably more surprising, though, is that Robertson was bunting in the first place. The Gatemen down by 5 runs. The run on second, of course, helps, but it's not like this is a 1-run ball game. They continue to need base runners. Robertson lines one into center field. Lewis has a beat on it, though. He makes the catch. Grand Prix bluffs his attempt over to third base, and he draws a throw, but now 2 away.
What I can find online, and it's kind of a mix of what we both suggested, if a batter swings and the ball hits them on the forearm, for example, as they're swinging, the ball is dead and it is a strike.
So it's kind of like a foul ball, even though it didn't hit the bat.
I guess. But regardless, I don't think Grand Prix should be standing at second right now. Not that there's anything that can be done about it at this point.
Well, either it was a mistake from the home plate umpire to allow Grand Prix to take second, or he continues to insist that it didn't hit Robertson.
Right.
But, of course, Robertson showing him the visual evidence, which I guess in hindsight would be a reason to put Grand Prix back on first. Super complicated, but Grand Prix is officially on second, and Robertson is officially retired. One and one with 2 outs, and this ball plunks Kalika right in the thigh, and he'll take first base. Grand Prix now went over to third, and he's trying to remain over there.
No, why not? They gave him second.
So now 2 runners on without the benefit of a base hit here in the 6th inning. Andrew Kisner can drive a ball to the gap. He might be able to score 2. Kalika was hit in the lower body with that pitch, but still pretty quick.
Mitchell Jordan has put together 26 2/3 scoreless innings of work to start off his Cape League season. The Gatemen are threatening, though, here on the 6th with Grand Prix at second and Andrew Kisner up at the plate. Breaking out of a mini slump against arguably the best pitcher in the Cape League would feel mighty fine for the 3-hitter for the Gatemen. 0 for 2 today with the strikeout. The 1-0, fastball right down Broadway. Kisner takes, and it's 1-1. With 2 away in the bottom of the 6th, here's Jordan to Kisner. Fly ball that draws Lewis back a few steps. That's going to end this 6th inning. The Gatemen get 2 runners on, no hits though. Mitchell Jordan continues his scoreless streak to start off the Cape League season. We'll head to the 7th, 5-0 Orleans over the Gatemen. As we head to the 7th at Spillane Field, it's 5-0 Orleans with a lead over the Gatemen. Orleans has had a home run in each of the past 3 innings. 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and then 1 in the 6th off of Grant Dyer. The Spillane faithful, though, has stuck around to watch their team try and mount a comeback. That'll have to wait a half inning, though. Grant Dyer trying to keep this deficit at 5 runs.
Dyer was pretty good after that solo home run he gave up to the first batter he faced in the 6th inning. That was Alex Call. An announcement now that the United States leading Japan 4-0 in the 21st minute of the Women's World Cup Championship.
I think that may be slightly off because I just got an update on my phone before that said they lead 4-0 at the end of the first half. Or no, in the first half. So through 21 minutes, that makes sense. As we get a glimpse into our press box, though, I'm in the white shirt. I wore the USA Soccer polo today in support of the women's national team. Yesterday was a very patriotic day, but today's the day to really show your colors with the U.S. national team in action.
I don't have any U.S. soccer paraphernalia, so I'm just wearing a normal Northwestern polo. So I'm not a big soccer fan either, but always cheer for the United States when they're in events like this.
But your mantra is, go Cats every second of every day.
I wouldn't even say that, but go Cats over a blank polo.
A 1-2 count to Nick Zamorelli, the 7-hitter in this Orleans lineup. Swings and misses, strike 3, second strikeout of the outing for Grant Dyer.
The catcher, number 31, Sean Murphy, from Wright State.
Zamorelli had one of those home runs back in the 5th, and the guy right behind him in the batting order, Sean Murphy, had a solo shot as well. He's up at the plate to face Dyer for the first time, and he takes a first pitch ball. One for 2 today, Sean Murphy, who started this game behind the backstop, has remained there as well. His 3rd straight start behind the plate. Before that, had been sharing time with Jeremy Martinez. But even though he was mired in a bit of a slump, 153 over his past 7 days, he broke out of it in a big way and continuing to show his coach why he deserves to be slotted into the lineup day in and day out. The 2-0, fastball a little bit high and tight, but called a strike nevertheless. It's 2-1. Dyer working out of the windup. Now to the plate. A good swing that time from Murphy. He hit it well towards the right field side, out of play. Five 0 Orleans, in case you're just joining us. All 5 of those runs being driven in on home runs. 3 solo shots, and then a 2-run home run off the bat of Kyle Lewis. Here, Dyer dials up a strikeout underneath the bat of a swinging Sean Murphy. Second strikeout of the inning and third of the outing for Grant Dyer.
And 10th of the game for the pitching staff. Williamson had 7 through 5 innings before he was taken out. So getting swings and misses not the issue. It's what the Firebirds do with their swings. 4 home runs for 5 runs.
The 9-hitter Ronnie Dawson takes a bouncing ball into the plate for ball 1. Of course, you don't want to see the Gatemen losing if you're a Gatemen fan, but if this team loses, losing by the home run ball should at least feel slightly better than a constant barrage of base runners coming around to score after shots that split the gap, because home run balls can be corrected. They're singular pitches in which the balls have left the ballpark. It's not like this Gateman staff has walked a bunch of guys, given up a bunch of consecutive hits, just isolated mistakes.
That is true, although a little consolation for the pitchers on the mound, Dyer and Williamson. The one that was a killer was the first one, Lewis. The first hit of the game for the Firebirds back in the 4th inning with Call on first. That one was an opposite field shot to right field and kind of set the tone for the next few innings.
A 4-pitch walk for the 9-hitter Ronnie Dawson. He's aboard first base with 2 outs, and now the lineup flips back over to the top. Second time that Dawson's been on base, now officially 1 for 2 with a walk in 3 plate appearances. Austin Miller, a pair of strikeouts and a flyout. So 0 for 3 today, but coming into this game, swinging a very hot bat. He'll be looking to get it going again against Grant Dyer with 2 outs. The DH today from Loyola Marymount. Trying his hand at the relief pitcher from UCLA. 1-0. Misses up and out. McKinnon holding on the runner at Dawson over at first base. And Kisner running through the signs with his pitcher Dyer. There goes the runner. Here's the throw from Kisner. Had a double clutch, and because of it, Dawson slides into second base safely.
Yeah, it looked like Kisner had a little bit of trouble getting that ball out of his mitt. And just that little double clutch was enough to let Dawson in with a stolen base.
So now a runner in scoring position, and in fact, the first runner in scoring position that Orleans has had in this ball game. They've had a runner on first now on 3 occasions. Alex Call with a hit by pitch in the 4th. Ronnie Dawson singled back in the 5th inning, and then he walked again in the 7th inning. But now the first runner standing on second base for Orleans. Miller has a job to do, and that's to drive him in and make this game 6-0. Here's the 1-2 from Dyer. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Dyer strikes out the side here in the 7th and works around a 2-out walk. It's still 5-0 here at Spillane Field, and now it's time to stretch. We have just been flying through this game here at Spillane Field, already the bottom of the 7th inning, and now a pitching change for the Orleans Firebirds. The evening of Mitchell Jordan is now over. He was excellent once again, going 6 innings, only allowing 2 hits, so now extending his scoreless inning streak to start this Cape League season, up to 27, and another start for him in which he allows 3 hits or fewer.
New pitcher in the game is Chandler Blanchard, righty out of Pepperdine University, 0-1 on the year with a 5.19 ERA, making his 8th appearance, all of them out of the bullpen. 8 2/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs allowed, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, and 12 hits during that span.
Should be noted that Jordan also had 5 strikeouts in his 6-inning outing, and those 5 strikeouts now put him in sole possession of the strikeouts lead as he passes Nick Deeg over from Harwich. So not only does he lead the league in ERA, still sitting at 0.00 after 27 innings, also has the lead in strikeouts. David McKinnon, who's second in the Cape in batting average, but 0 for 2 today, will take 2 balls. Hitters count, and Blanchard now with 3 straight balls to start off his outing. Eighth appearance of the season for Blanchard. He inherits a 5-run lead that his offense has staked out for him, thanks in complete part to 4 home runs. McKinnon into left center field, a lazy fly ball. Kyle Lewis calls off Ronnie Dawson. Another put out for the center fielder.
Only 2 hits so far tonight for the Gatemen, both of them singles.
Final note on Mitchell Jordan, of his 76 pitches, so just that fact means he was very economical. 55 of them were strikes, so economical and in the strike zone, and also having that swing and miss stuff with 5 strikeouts. Jabs could really use a base hit. The 0-1, bounce in the dirt. Good news is he hasn't struck out, which a step in the right direction, making contact in this game, but now in an 0 for 16 slump. He'll try his hand at the reliever. The 1-1 on the outside corner, it's 1-2. Jabs, of course, happy to see Mitchell Jordan depart from this ball game. In Game 1, which was Game 2 of a doubleheader between Orleans and the Wareham Gatemen, struck out 3 times, 0 for 2 in his first 2 at-bats against Jordan, and now here on 0 for 3 day as he strikes out against Blanchard.
The third baseman, number 11, John Sternagel from Florida.
Two quick outs for the new pitcher, and now it's John Sternagel, who's also 0 for 2. Tap softly, foul. The Gatemen only have 2 hits so far in this ball game. Had 2 base runners back in the 6th, thanks to a strikeout and then a wild pitch. Grand Prix reaching on the play, and then Kalika was hit by a pitch. Sternagel does not go around, so the count evened at 1. Hot shot down the third base line, and it hooks just foul. Sternagel put a good swing on it, but at the end of the day, simply a loud strike. And so now he's down the count 1-2.
Something to keep an eye on for those who follow the Wareham Gatemen closely. The man who has become the closer for the Orleans Firebirds is a familiar name, Jason Harper. ERA of 3, 4 saves, 8 appearances this year. And he was one of the tryout players for the Wareham Gatemen just a few weeks ago. He was taken off the roster, and the Orleans Firebirds quickly picked him up.
A curveball there from Chandler Blanchard gets Sternagel swinging. 2 strikeouts on the inning for Blanchard, and a 1-2-3 inning for him as well. We'll head to the 8th, still 5-0 Orleans on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. Orleans has certainly brought the boom here at Spillane Field to the benefit of 4 home runs, contributing to all 5 of their runs. They're out to that 5-run lead against the Gatemen. A very quick game. The sun's starting to set now at Spillane Field. The Gatemen hoping the sun hasn't officially set on them. Only recorded 2 hits, and Grant Dyer back out on the mound for his 3rd inning of work, trying to keep the deficit at 5. Pinero, who's 0 for 3, digs into the box and takes a first pitch ball. When leading after 7 innings this season, Orleans is 14-0.
That's good, isn't it?
That's pretty good. Ground ball up the middle, Grand Prix ranging over. Flips on to first for the first out of the 8th.
4th ground out to the left side of the infield and 4 at bats for Pinero.
27, Alex Call from Ball State.
Want to hear some other stats from Orleans that are good?
Sure.
They had 11 home runs coming into this game, which was first in the Cape. They hit 4 so far, so now they're up to 15.
That's pretty good.
Their team ERA coming into this game, 2.06, which was first in the Cape. That's only gone down.
That's pretty good.
We mentioned the 14-0 after leading after 7 innings. The pitching staff's whip, too, 1.00. That's pretty impressive.
It's almost like they're the best team in the league right now.
I know. They're poised to go to 16-6, 10 games above 500. Continue to kind of run away with that Eastern Division. Gatemen are lucky that they're not in the West, because that would put them in 3rd place. The Gatemen, though, the only team that really comes close in matching them with run differential. Orleans at plus 39 on the season, while the Gatemen at plus 22. Alex Call, who's 0 for 2, rather 1 for 3 with a home run. Attendance tonight to watch these top scoring teams in the Cape, 995. A hair shy of 1,000.
So close. They need to count the dogs next time. We've seen dogs here.
One walking down the third base side. But we'll keep our attention focused on the action. The 1-2 pitch, escalator fastball. And Call strikes out for the 2nd time in this ballgame.
Dyer's been pretty good. He gave up a home run to the first batter he faced back in the 6th inning, but since then, just 1 over the minimum, walked a batter. In the process, he's now struck out 5 batters. 5 plus 7 for Williamson gives the Gatemen pitching staff a total of 12 tonight.
One of the home runs in this ball game came off the bat of Kyle Lewis. There's the dog we were talking about. Let's make it 996. There's 997. Can we find 3 more? I guess not. The 0-1 to Lewis. Fastball, inside corner, strike 2.
Unfortunately, though, dogs cannot contribute to the 50-50 raffle.
Oh, 2 with 2 away. Outside pitch, and Lewis goes with it down the first base side. Dyer trying to retire the side in order. An 0-2 count ahead of Kyle Lewis. Fastball that caught a lot of the plate. Lewis is kicking himself for not doing more with that pitch. For the Gatemen in the 8th, it's 7, 8, and 9. Trying to cut into this 5-run deficit. Dyer from the windup. A fastball that misses outside.
Nobody warming in the Gatemen bullpen. Dyer might get the rest of the game here.
The 1-2 pitch hit well into center field. Kalika on his horse. Backtracks right in front of the wall. And he makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Grant Dyer. The Gatemen offense, though, still has some work to do as we head to the bottom of the 8th. It's 5-0 Orleans on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. Gary Gateman's on hand to watch a battle between the Orleans Firebirds and the Wareham Gatemen. What he cannot tell you, though, is what's going on around the league. Eric Bramer can, though. What do we got?
Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox leading the host Brewster Whitecaps by a score of 10-2 in the bottom of the ninth at Stony Brook Field. At Arnie Allen Diamond, Bourne Braves leading the Falmouth Commodores by a score of 4-1 in the top of the eighth. Katuitt Kettleers trailing the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in Hyannis at McKeon Park 3-0. That's in the bottom of the fourth inning. And in the bottom of the third at Veterans Field, Harwich Mariners leading the Chatham Anglers 2-0.
Takeaways from this. Bourne continues to be road warriors. Before falling to Wareham, they had won 6 in a row, now out to a 3-0 lead on the road against Falmouth, as Karaviotis fouls 2 straight pitches back. Yarmouth, which is in last place in the East, is leading Brewster, which is in 3rd place in the East. So inching ever so closer to a projected playoff berth. Hyannis, a 3-0 lead, so they're in 1st place and looking to get another game on the Gatemen, who are down. And then Harwich over Chatham, so West over East.
Harwich playing Chatham, the only 2 ballparks that we have not yet been to this year, although we were in the parking lot of the Harwich field. That game was rained out after we had arrived.
In on the hands of Karaviotis. He pops one lightly back to the screen, but the catcher, Sean Murphy, is there to put it away. Not West versus East, rather. Both teams in the East. Chatham currently in 2nd place, but only a half game up on Harwich. So if Harwich results victorious there, they will then take a half game lead over Chatham. Charlie Warren, who has hit the ball to the center fielder Kyle Lewis on both occasions, 0 for 2. Ground ball right side over to Alex Call. 2 outs here on the bottom of the 8th.
The shortstop, number 12, Preston Grand Prix from Cal Berkeley.
Make that 6 in a row. Retired from the relief pitcher Chandler Blanchard. Grand Prix, 0 for 2, a pair of strikeouts. Did reach base, though, back in the 6th. Down near the shoe tops, but he fouls that one back and out of play. Talking a bit more on Grand Prix's adjustment that he's working on this game, resting the bat more towards his shoulders. It's all designed to allow him to make a more quick and explosive movement towards the ball, rather than having a lot of moving parts, hands loading, then coming through the zone. He's already getting them closer to a loaded position, so then he can fire his hips and allow his hands to go directly to the baseball. Still sporting the red, white, and blue batting gloves for the 2nd straight day. The 2-2. And he takes a swing and misses. So Grand Prix with the hat trick, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, and a 1-2-3 inning for Chandler Blanchard. On to the 9th we go, 5-0 Orleans over the Wareham Gatemen on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. 5-0 Orleans over the Gatemen as we head to the 9th inning. And now a new pitcher for the Gatemen, the 3rd of this ball game. It's a right-hander out of Maryland, and Jared Price.
Jared Price making his first appearance for the Gatemen, previously with the Falmouth Commodores out of the University of Maryland. He has an ERA of 18, 4 runs allowed and 2 innings pitched so far in the Cape League season.
So again, I've said this before on multiple broadcasts, but there's value to be had even in a 5-0 deficit that feels like a lot more. And one of those forms of values is getting a look at a guy who hasn't pitched for you so far this season in Jared Price. We saw Williamson throwing to Kisner, the teammates back at NC State. Got to assume that eventually in this season, Price will throw a few pitches to the other catcher on this roster, or one of the 3, Nick Sierra, who's also from Maryland.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, pitching change for the Gatemen. Now pitching.
Final line on Dyer, 3 innings pitched, allowed a run and a hit. That run and hit all in the same play. It was a home run on the first batter he faced, and Alex Call. After that, settled down, only walked 1, and then struck out 5. So Price coming into the game facing the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Orleans. First up, it's Willie Abreu, who's 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Abreu coming into this game only having 12 at-bats. Now that he's 0 for 3 today, 2 for his first 15 to start off his Cape League campaign. First pitch swing, ground ball over to Robertson at second base. And Abreu certainly was not happy with that, slamming his bat down in frustration, and I think possibly breaking it as well.
The first baseman, number 20, Trace.
So a good start for Jared Price as he begins his quest with the Wareham Gatemen, inducing a softly hit ground out over to Robertson.
Bring up Trace Barrera, whose name is actually Felipe Barrera III, but the third in his name leading to Trace that he has adopted as his first name.
Are you fluent in Spanish?
I'm proficient,
Okay.
or so says my higher academic institution.
Well, Tres has 3 at-bats today,
Oh, you're doing the Barcelona thing.
and he's 0 for 3.
I see.
The Barcelona thing? No. The how you speak Spanish thing. Tres.
Th.
Tres.
Trace.
Trace is Trayce.
Trace.
I'm not sure what Tres will be. In Spanish, tres, Thres.
So you go uno, dos, tres?
Yeah.
Never heard that.
I think it's pretty commonplace for those who speak Spanish, I guess, more than proficiently, to say tres.
Really?
Yeah. My last name's Garcia, so
Yeah, no, I'm not doubting you.
take my
I've
word
just-
for it.
I've just never heard that before, and I have interacted with some frequency with native Spanish speakers, and maybe they're just accommodating my poor English tongue, but
Well, I'm not a native Spanish speaker, but I did go through 12 years of schooling,
again, not doubting you, not
all
doubting.
learning Spanish. I'm not saying you're doubting me. I'm just
Uno, dos,
it's a
tres.
5-0. It's a 5-0 game in the 9th. I'm trying to give our listeners a little bit more background information on us.
Understood.
That pitch in on the hands of Barrera, and Tres is over to first base. The first time he's been on base in this game.
How do you say the number 6 in Spanish?
Seis.
But that does not rhyme with tres.
Zamorelli from Elon.
Is it supposed to rhyme?
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. Seis.
Seis.
Seis.
Yeah.
Tres, seis.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know that every third number in the
No, I just,
Spanish sequencing had to rhyme.
I'm not saying it does.
This is just good fun. Having a good time, even though the Gatemen are probably not having a good time.
I can't be the only one who was under the impression that it was pronounced tres. Because that's all I've ever heard, honestly.
Well, I guess maybe it's both ways then.
I mean, again, I'm not going to correct you. Your last name is Garcia. I'll defer to you on this one, but this is an interesting development.
Fly ball left field over to Jay Jabs. He camps underneath, and he makes the catch. There's now 2 away.
The catcher, number 31, Sean Murphy.
Zamorelli 1 for 4 today after that fly out, that one hit, a home run back in the 5th inning. Sean Murphy the other guy with a home run in this lineup. He followed Zamorelli, back-to-back jacks back in the 5th inning. A lot of the damage coming off of the starter, Ryan Williamson, who was excellent until the 4th inning when he was plagued by a 2-run home run from Kyle Lewis. Price on the mound, the 0-1 count, now evened at 1-1. For the Gatemen, due up in the 9th inning, it's the top of the order. Kramer, Robertson, Andrew Kalika, and then Andrew Kisner. Between the 3 of them, only 1 hit. Called strike there on the outside corner. It's now 1-2. See, now you're having me just doubting my own upbringing.
No, I'm just Googling it.
Maybe I've said it wrong my entire life. That could be a possibility, too.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the upper Midwest dialect of the Spanish language. Because, you know, there's the Spanish version of Spanish where you've got the th instead of the s.
Ground ball up the middle where Grand Prix is there. Opts to go with the lead runner for the 3rd out of the top of the 9th. We'll have more on this discussion in the bottom of the 9th. For the Gatemen due up, it's Robertson, Kalika, and Kisner. Last shot to try and get 5 runs against the Orleans Firebirds on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. As we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, top of the order due up for the Wareham Gatemen. We will see a new pitcher enter into this ball game. More on him in a second once we identify who it is. Looks like he hasn't had an appearance so far for the Orleans Firebirds. I think the talking point, though, that's looming over everyone's minds is our discussion on the word 3 in Spanish. Here's what I'll say after going off the air, having cooler heads prevailed in the little half-inning break. I think perhaps the way I pronounced it is, I guess, my upbringing, which was my mom teaching me Spanish for, I guess, every single area outside of school. Her going with the Spaniard pronunciation of it, where the H is a little bit more pronounced. It's not spelled T-H-R-E-S. It's T-H-E, accent on the E-S. So the tres there, see, as I'm saying, it sounds like there would be an H, but there's actually not an H.
There is no H.
Maybe it's
T-R-E-S. No.
T-R-E-S, there's not an H.
Right.
But I think I was arguing for that this past inning. I think it's the dialect, though, that both of us are using.
Yep.
That just is slightly different.
I think if I were to go down to Mexico or to any South American country that speaks Spanish and order tres hamburguesas, I would get more of a questioned look from hamburguesas than tres.
Right. And I think the problem that a lot of people who haven't spoken Spanish a lot, it's a lot of enunciation with the letters, and that's why it's tres for you instead of tres for me.
New pitcher in the game is Jared Parkoff out of Austin P University.
Robertson swinging at the first pitch into the right center gap, but Willie Abreu, a left-handed right fielder, there to make the first out of the bottom of the 9th. So now the Gatemen down to their final 2 outs.
Second guy in 3 games that we've seen out of Austin P.
Now it's Andrew Kalika, who is 0 for 2. Reached base back in the 6th, though, on a hit by pitch. Coming into this inning, the Gatemen had been held off the scoreboards for the past 21 innings. Trying to break that trend and not go into a game tomorrow with a scoreless streak that would be at 22. The 2-0 missing low, and now it's 3-0. Andrew Kisner on deck, who's 0 for 3. On the outside corner, a fastball that time, and it's 3-1. And now ball 4. So Kalika draws a 5-pitch walk with 1 out in the 9th inning. And now it'll be the 3-hitter Kisner.
From North Carolina State.
(5-0) Orleans here in the 9th. The Gatemen down to their final 2 outs of this ball game. Kalika got a huge jump, and he's into second base standing up. Such a huge jump that, in a sense, you could say it was defensive indifference because the catcher really indifferent about what Kalika was doing, but such a huge jump there will award him a stolen base. Second in as many days for the speedster. Sean Murphy out to the mound to have a word with his pitcher.
I'm scoring that defensive indifference.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because the defense could not have looked more indifferent as Kalika took off for second.
Yeah, that's what happens, though, when you get a rolling lead that makes you halfway to second base before the pitcher even delivers to the mound.
The run doesn't matter, so
You're right.
I'm going to call it defensive indifference.
3-0 to Andrew Kisner. McKinnon on deck, who's also 0 for 3. Ball 4, misses low and outside, so now 2 runners are aboard. 2 straight walks from Kharkov. For the Gatemen, though, I think this run on second base does matter. Don't want a scoreless streak that would span 22 innings going into tomorrow's trip up to Harwich. So I think the value of scoring this run, at least somewhat important. I don't think it should deter you, though, from ruling it defensive indifference.
No, it's definitely defensive indifference. But, yeah, the run does matter for the Gatemen as they try and snap this scoreless streak. Feel a lot better about tomorrow's game, knowing that they'd at least pushed a run across here tonight.
Tomorrow's game at Harwich is a makeup from a June 28th affair that was ultimately postponed due to rain. They'll follow that up with 3 more road games in a row at Katuitt, at Chatham, off day on Thursday, and then again at Hyannis on Friday. Kharkov in there for a strike to the cleanup hitter McKinnon. Two straight walks. It's Kalika on second and Kisner on first. Soft line drive. It bounces in front of Barrera, then takes a wicked hop, but ultimately in foul territory.
And I'm not sure about that because I thought that ball bounced in fair territory.
If it bounced in fair territory, it was clearly past the first base bag. And now Cooper Ferris out to have a word with the first base umpire. Let's count all the times in which the Gatemen have been on the wrong side of the controversial decision over the past few days. We had the controversial ruling at third base where Charlie Warren tried to go first to third with nobody out. Not go in their favor. Connor Beck squared for a bunt yesterday. The pitch hit him.
Gary Gateman is loving every second of this in the top right-hand corner of your screen.
Just a character. But yeah, the Connor Beck ruling didn't go in the Gatemen's favor, at least initially, and then he roped a single. few other controversial calls today, like Kramer Robertson squaring to bunt, the pitch hitting him, but ultimately being ruled a strike. The antics of Gary Gatemen on display there, but ultimately not benefiting his team as Cooper Ferris will trudge back over to the third base coaching box. McKinnon now down an 0-2 count. Line drive to the second baseman Call. He spears it for out number 2.
Hard hit, but in the wrong spot, right to the glove of Call. Lucky that wasn't a game-ending double play.
Yeah, good base running there from both Kisner and Kalika to freeze immediately when they saw a line drive. Not being too jumpy on the base path, so they'll stay put at first and second respectively. Jabs is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Gatemen down to their final out of this ball game. Kharkiv, a fastball and a called strike. He pops the glove of his catcher Murphy, but a little bit too high, so the count evened at 1. Softly tapped, and now it rolls into fair territory. Jabs hustles down the line, but the throw to first from Kharkiv is in time. So that's the ball game here at Spillane Field. Final score, Orleans 5, Wareham Gatemen 0. Their scoreless streak from their offense now up to 22 innings. They've been held scoreless on back-to-back days. They fall thanks to 4 home runs notched by the Orleans Firebirds. Ultimately, definitely enough for their starting pitcher, Mitchell Jordan, who is excellent once again. So, Eric, as we close out this broadcast and head into tomorrow's game at Harwich, what does this offense have to do to right the ship?
Well, it's a shame that they're playing tomorrow because I think what they could really use is an off day. But they're not going to have that. They're having their game from a week ago tonight made up against Harwich tomorrow, and they're just going to have to buckle down and get some base runners on. They've run into a tough stretch here where they've not gotten many base runners, and I think more than that, they've faced some really good pitchers, and there's not a whole lot you can do to control the opposition. But hopefully against Harwich tomorrow, they draw someone who has some trouble throwing strikes and they can capitalize against that.
Well, Mitchell Jordan certainly didn't have trouble throwing strikes tonight. Another 6 innings scoreless outing from him. So through his first 27 innings on the Cape Cod Baseball League, all of them have been scoreless. He now leads the league in both ERA and in strikeouts. On the flip side of things, we'll recap some of the action throughout this game. Ryan Williamson was his opponent on the mound. He was pretty stellar, at least through the first 3 innings, retiring the side in order. Ran into trouble after getting 2 outs in the 4th inning. A 2-run home run and an opposite field home run from Kyle Lewis set the tone early, 2-0. And after that, another pair of home runs in the 5th inning, both off of Williamson, and back-to-back jacks for Zamorelli and Sean Murphy. So a total of 3 home runs hit off of Williamson. He departed after 5 innings of work, allowing 4 runs. The strikeout numbers were certainly there, though. He got a total of 7 of them in this ball game. He then gave way to Grant Dyer, who coughed up a home run to the first batter he faced in Alex Call. So make that 4 home runs in this ball game for the Orleans Firebirds, only on a total of 5 hits. The Gatemen were stymied, like we said, from Mitchell Jordan. A pair of relievers after him did the trick, and all in all, the Gatemen only muster 2 hits. So the finals on the scoreboard are correct. 5 runs on 5 hits for the Orleans Firebirds, no runs on 2 hits for the Wareham Gatemen. We'll be back at it tomorrow on a road broadcast at Harwich. Follow that up with 3 more road broadcasts at Cotuit, at Chatham, and then Hyannis. So with that, we will say so long from Spillane Field. Gatemen dropped their first contest in the month of July. They're now 2-1-1. Overall, they dropped to 11-10-1 on the season, while Orleans advances to 16-6. My broadcast partner, Eric Bramer, our field reporter, Megan O'Brien, I'm Jake Garcia, saying so long and good night from Spillane Field.